Hi, welcome to Building with Blue, or welcome back to Building with Blue. This will probably be a multi-part video unless I can figure out how to do a time lapse. It's going to be pretty involved because there's a lot of cleaning and that kind of thing that goes on. That's going to go on. Oh, I forgot to say, if you're just finding me, thanks for being here. Glad you found me. And if you're returning, thanks for returning. Hope you're enjoying the content so far. And I hope I'm adding value to everybody's lives as they watch what I'm doing, and maybe you'll learn something and maybe it'll help inspire you. That's my hope anyway. This is the rear end of the frame that I'm putting, pardon me, that I'm putting the camper on, the motorhome. I'll show you. Let me turn this around. This is a 2000 F550 frame. There's the 1968 F600 cab. Frame comes back. There's my generator. Frame comes back. Got the huge leaf pack back here along with a helper spring, and then you have these brakes. So the brake was infiltrated by axle oil because this sealing surface failed. There's a groove, a deep groove in this sealing surface. To fix that, there's something called a speedy sleeve, and I'll break that into a different video. But this all needs to be replaced. All this stuff needs to be replaced. The metal parts I could clean and reuse, but when I ordered the parts for the other side, because the other side, everything was missing. So when I ordered the parts for the other side, it came with both sides. So I'll just put all new hardware in here for this side also, and then everything will be new. This needs to be cleaned out too, and it got grease all in it. This is right here, this is the braking surface for the parking brake, and this is the main braking surface. It's hard to tell, but this whole thing is huge. This parking brake, and this is just for the parking brake. Doesn't do any of the main braking. All the main braking comes off the disc brakes. So when you stop in a place and you want to put the parking brake on, this is the one that does the parking brake. Normally, parking brake shoes, when I had my F-150, parking brake shoes were, I can't even, like this big, little tiny things. These are as big as a regular parking brake, a regular brake in an old truck. So this F350 dually, that's a 1972. That, the rear brakes on that are the same size as these, and these are just for parking. So they're beefy. Same with the brake discs. The discs are huge on this. They're almost 16 inches diameter, and the pads are ginormous. They're 5/8 of an inch thick and big. So this whole thing is a big beastly machine. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be taking this whole thing apart, and I'm going to clean it. I have to clean everything. I have to put the speedy sleeve on, and then put the new seal in the drum hub over there, and then it should be good to go. So follow along with me while I do all that. First thing you want to do when you're working with stuff like this, put gloves on. Drum brakes are way harder to work with than disc brakes. Really antiquated technology, but they work, so they still use them. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these. These hold the shoes to the backer. To get these off, you need to grab a hold of them and then push and turn 90 degrees. Sometimes you have to support it in the back because there's a pin. So this disc that holds the spring in place has a slot in it. And then this pin pin has a flat. I don't know if you can see that. So the flat goes in from the back. The flat goes in, and then when you turn it 90 degrees, it locks it in place. You have to release the spring, the main spring, and then this whole thing pops out. If you're doing them and you want to save parts, then you have to be a little more careful, but because I'm doing all new, it doesn't matter. This is the adjuster. It goes down underneath between the two brake shoes. These are called shoes. Disc brakes are called pads. So it goes between the two shoes, and then as you turn this screw, it adjusts the space between the where the shoes are relative to the drum surface. As your shoes wear, then you need to adjust them out. I probably won't ever have to adjust these because they're parking brakes, and they shouldn't get a lot of wear. They're not stopping me, they're just holding me. So I'd be highly surprised if I have to adjust these once they're initially adjusted, but it's a possibility. So now I need to go through and I need to clean all this off. I need to take the emergency brake. I don't think you can see. Under here is an emergency brake lever. I have a new one of those also because on the other side it was missing and it came in the set. So I'll replace that as well just because it's easier, and then everything's brand new. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about cleaning it and making sure everything's all clean. So once I get that off, then I'm going to clean this all up. I'm going to take these two pieces apart because I want to be able to get all the grease out of them, the disc and the hub. I'll take them apart. Plus it makes it easier to put the seal in. So I'll get all that cleaned up, get the new seal put in, all back together. I'll get all this cleaned up, and then I'll show you how the new parts go on. Okay, I've been at it for a little while, cleaning off this drum brake area, and it's pretty clean. I'll move it like this. You can see I got the grease off it. It's nice and dry. No grease. Well, there's some grease on my finger, but it's not from that. From here this way doesn't matter, because from here that way will be sealed from the axle grease. The axle grease won't be able to get back there anymore. So now I need to work on that. I need to take it apart and clean it up. Okay, so I don't have my microphone on, but I don't think I need it because I'm close enough. Got everything clean, and now I'm ready to put the brake components back in place. I'll show you what it looks like. So I showed you this before. This is clean, ready to go. I have the Speedy sleeve on there. They said to put it on with a metal-filled epoxy, so I used JB Weld with steel inside. And so this is now going to be permanently attached to the axle. And then this is all clean, and I put a new seal in there. The old seal's right there. So that's ready to go, and I knocked the rust off that. Doesn't really matter because I won't be driving it for a while, so it'll probably get rusty again, but you know, try and start off new. I'm gonna reset the camera, and this next step I'll do a time lapse on, because this is not a drum brake redo video. I just want to show you basically what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and then it's getting done. If anyone has any questions about doing brakes, let me know. Drum brakes are a pain in the butt. Disc brakes are much easier, and so that's the basics of it. As you can see, that big spring is a pain in the butt. Now I get to lift the brake and hub assembly, which weighs about 80 pounds, and put it in place. Actually, it didn't go too bad. Now, this is the lock nut, lock ring, and outer bearing. Outer bearing goes on, lock ring goes on, there's a tab. Tab goes in the groove up top. I'm gonna go, I know there's a torque, but I don't have a torque wrench that goes high enough. So the old school way is you go until it's hard to turn, and then you back it off a little bit until it's not hard to turn. Like that. That should be good. Now I have to put the axle in. So these are full floating axles, which means that the bearing on the outside and the bearing on the inside are separate from the axle. So the axle could snap, could fall out if something really bad happened, but the hub would stay on the axle because they're separate. So I'm going to go grab the axle and I'll be back. Okay, I have the axle out of my little storage building here, and I'm going to put the axle in place now and then put the bolts in it. There's bolts that go in the outside here, and then we need to do the disc brakes. I have new pads for that. The hardest thing about doing disc brakes is getting the caliper pistons back in, but you can use, usually you can use C-clamps, well, a C-clamp or C-clamps to push them back in place. And when you do that, you want to use an old brake pad to protect the pistons from any damage and to distribute the load from the C-clamps. So again, we're going to do a time lapse. Put these bolts in hand tight, but it's been sitting so long they kind of got stuck. This is the caliper bracket, it's not the actual caliper. So I can put this on first and then put the caliper together. So these are the pistons I was talking about. The hydraulic pressure gets built up in here and pushes on the pistons, which pinches the disc pads against the disc brake. So these have to be pushed in. So I'm going to use one of these old brake pads and C-clamps. I'll have to C-clamp around here. Okay, I think those piston cups were just stuck from sitting for so long. The one, anyway, the one was moving okay. So the disc brake pads, you line up and you put them in up to the rotor, so they go over this, and sometimes you have to pull the tab out, but you get them right up against the rotor, and the caliper comes around and goes over the new pads. Okay. Last piece is this protective cover. It goes on like this. Actually, like this. Luckily I have ratcheting wrenches. Of course I didn't have the 16 millimeter. I don't know where that went. Probably in a box somewhere. Coat. It's nice to have the tools, but it's nice to know where the tools are when you need them too. Okay. Now I can put the wheels on. Wheels are fun. They're heavy. Awkward. So it's out here. haven't memorized what size you are yet. Got it right this time. Finished torque on these is really high. I'm not going to finish torquing them right now because I'm probably going to have to take them off again before I get on the road. But before I get on the road, I will make sure that these are torqued down to the proper torque. Otherwise, I might have issues. And finally, all I have to do is get the jack now, get it off the jack stand, and it's back on the ground. So that's good. That's another big step. Thanks for following me along. I know it was a long video. Even if I fast forward, I think it's going to be a long video. But that's my life. That's what I'm doing. Tired. I'm going to get cleaned up, take this off the jack stand, get cleaned up, and go get some dinner. Thanks for being here. I hope it gave you some value. If nothing else, maybe you learn what you don't want to do in life. I told my son that all the time. I said, I've tried lots of jobs. I said, let me know what I didn't want to do with my life. So, thanks for being here, and keep on building.